If he noticed her sarcasm, he didn't acknowledge it. They didn't exchange names. Their interaction would not require them. His home was smaller on the inside than it looked, the furniture made of dark, lacquered wood and inlaid with Nhika. She caught sight of a wall-mounted rotary dial too. Few were rich enough to afford their own home telephones. As she observed the twin place settings, the double armchairs, the 2 pairs of shoes by the door, she understood why the house was so small despite the man's obvious wealth. She understood why he was desperate enough to hire someone like her. It was a home meant only for 2, and one must have been on their deathbed. "Where is the patient?" she asked, holding her bag of tinctures close as though she were a home doctor. "Upstairs," the man said, squeezing the thin scraggle of hair on his chin. "Follow me." Nhika trailed the man to the stairs, glass clinking in her bag. "Now, I'll have you know, I don't believe in this homeopathic nonsense," he insisted as they climbed, each hardwood step creaking underfoot. "Whatever you use, your salves and what not, I want to know the scientific premise." She'd heard this disclaimer in some variation from all her clients. Nhika couldn't blame them. Coming from a technocratic city like Theumas, of course he had to renounce homeopathy for that shiny, modern medicine. But, with a contemptuous smile, she understood that somewhere, deep inside, he did believe. He wouldn't have sought her out otherwise. Or perhaps the physicians had already written off this patient as a lost cause, and he was desperate enough to hope that ginger and ginseng could do a damn thing against death. But of course they couldn't. That was Nhika's secret. Well, one of many. She didn't believe in this homeopathic nonsense either. They came to a bedroom on the uppermost level, its curtains flung open to look out onto the balcony. A woman slept alone on the wide bed, wrapped beneath the heavy comforter. She looked almost like an automaton in the making, with a skeletal frame and catheters hanging out of her. A large box-like machine sat at the opposite side of her bed, slowly eating its command roll as its cogs worked, dripping fluids and medicine through her lines. The heavy breathing of its bellows filled the room. Nhika approached the bed and the man sucked in a breath through his teeth, as though about to change his mind and usher her out the door. Perhaps he just now noticed her Yarangese features. Her golden brown skin, dark irises, and hair the colour of coffee rather than ink. Growing up in Theumas had wrung some of the island influence out of her, but that didn't deter clients from their paranoia. Nhika glanced back at him, awaiting a verdict, and he held open a palm to let her approach. She took a spot at the bedside to inspect the woman. The patient held a placid expression, her eyes closed, and Nhika might have thought she was napping if not for the mottled look of her skin. Even for a Theuman, she was unusually pale. This position was eerily familiar. A memory pulled from years ago. Her at the bedside, while her mother lay beneath a thin sheet. Only, there weren't so many catheters and machines. Just Nhika's hand in hers, and her mother had never looked so sallow, not even in death. She blinked out her thoughts. What's happened here? It began as chest pain, and one day she collapsed. Since then, she hasn't been the same. Weak, in pain. She's asleep now from all her medicine, but the doctors say it's only to make her comfortable, not cure her. They say there's no more hope.